What's going on, guys? Back here with another episode of rebuilding the Mitsubishi Evolution. If you didn't watch the last episode, here's what you missed out on. So on the last episode, you guys watched me remove the air intake side of things and also the front drive axles. So in this episode, we're going to be removing the gearbox, the transfer case, and getting it out ready for inspection. So now that we got all the exterior parts out of the way, we're going to have to jack up the rear end, take the rear tyres off, just because it's easier. Then we'll put it on jack stands. Then we'll take the tail shaft off, which will then allow us to remove the transfer case. After the transfer case is out, then we can go ahead and take on the gearbox. And then let's get into it.
Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late. Seen him down bad, now they tryna hate.
Alright, so while I was jacking it up, I found that the exhaust sort of gets in the way of the tail shaft, so we'll just remove that. I'll be going for a full 3.5-inch system. I'll be custom making it myself before the end of this build, so we'll just go ahead and remove that to make it easier. So now I'll be removing the dump pipe. So it looks a bit different from your average dump pipe. It's all aftermarket and custom made. So we have a 13mm V-band clamp down the bottom there, and then just a 6mm Allen key up the top. Once those two are undone, then we'll be able to go ahead and drop the dump pipe. As you can see, V-bands can be a little bit of a pain, but if you just get a flat blade screwdriver underneath it and just give it a little bit of a pry, it'll just come straight off. So if you look in the back here, just down there, those are our two pain in the arse bolts, and what appears to be a bit of a coolant leak, but I think I know where that's coming from. So we'll get those two out, and then the line is on the right hand side of the gearbox. We'll get that off from the bottom, and then we can get the rest of the ones off, and then that should be able to come out. Bolts out, I've got something that'll make it a little bit easier for you. These are just a offset spanner that you can put an extension in and put on your ratchet. The top ones are 17mm, so that's what I'll be using to get these top ones out. Basically allows you so you can put your tool on the bolt, put an extension off it out of the way of wiring and cables, and then put a ratchet on there, undo it to a certain point, then it will bottom out. But then once that's off, it makes it a whole lot easier. So as you can see, there's the offset spanner, just on there like that. last but not least, we have one more bolt at the back here that goes sort of through the transfer case into the gearbox. We should be able to get it with just that. And then once that out, that should the transfer case should just drop straight out. So now that that's out, I've moved it just out of the way here. That basically just has to sit there until we can get the center brace off with the rear gearbox mount and the front gearbox mount. Drop the gearbox and then we'll be able to get that out. 'Cause it's a pretty tight fit back here, and then the tail of the transfer case goes over that cross member. So let's just get this gearbox out, put the engine on a stand, and then take this center support off so we can get the gearbox. So now that all the bottom gearbox bolts are out of the way, there is a stand on the gearboxes to hold it for support. The top gearbox mount is still in, so we'll start to remove some of the top gearbox bolts. I also want to drain the coolant to remove the radiator and the cooling pipe here, just to give us some extra room, because that'll all be coming out anyway later on when I paint the engine bay. So we'll go ahead and drain the coolant, and then we'll move this top pipe to give us access to those last few bolts. So now that all the coolant is drained and the bottom radiator hose is removed, now we can get access to those top few bolts, the ones just up here. So what I'll do first though is I'll take that top mount out, so then I can jack up the gearbox a little bit, so then I can get a piece of wood under the engine to hold the engine up, because once you take the gearbox out, there's nothing holding the engine up on the left hand side of the vehicle. You're meant to have, there's a proper stand you get that mounts there and here, and then it goes across the top of your engine bay and it holds the engine up, but I don't unfortunately have access to one of those, so this is how I'm doing it. So let's get stuck into it. there you have it, guys. One transfer case and one gearbox. It was a pain in the ass, I'm not gonna lie. The brackets are really hard to get to, and it's just a very difficult spot. So, well, there you have it. If you want to find out what's wrong with the gearbox and the transfer case, then make sure you like and subscribe. And then we'll go and do some investigating in the next episode. So that's all for now. See you next time.